Well, welcome as we begin our first recording session of the new 6 weeks. I say new 6 weeks, I mean we're kind of closing up here, so henceforth why I made this review. This will be, I think, take one. There's probably going to be multiple parts of this just so I can kind of divide it up by topic. The first thing I want to talk to you about, though, is a little bit of review that will be on this test. There's just going to be a smidge bit of review from the first few presidents. So I'm going to write review. First little bit of review, something you need to know about, it's just going to be important for you to remember, is Alexander Hamilton. And he created something, something that Democratic Republicans were against, Federalists were for. This thing that he creates is the National Bank. He creates a national bank to help consolidate debt, take care of debt, and create credit for the U.S., which basically means other countries will be more likely to lend us money if they see that we have the means necessary to pay it back. You will need to know a lot about the Louisiana Purchase. Louisiana Purchase from the Louisiana Purchase, I would kind of stick with, what year was it? 1803. How much was it? $15 million. If it was $15 million, what did it do? It doubled the size of the U.S. 1803. All of these things are going to be very important for you to know, mainly just because Louisiana Purchase, it is a hot date, one of those dates that all 8th graders need to know. Secondly, that's really all we're going to do as far as review goes. We're going to do this in the War of 1812, and then I'm going to skedaddle off of this. If you still need to take the rest of this down, push pause, go to your little go to your screen, press the pause button, and we'll come back to this later. Whee! Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is the War of, yeah, you can't even see that, 1812. Okay, a couple of things about the War of 1812. First off, it was caused, alright, causes here. Causes. It was caused by, really, the British were impressing sailors. Okay, and when I say impressing, I do not mean they were doing a cute little tap dance for him and then giving him a little wink and saying, "Oh, aren't I an impressive person?" And the sailor says, "Oh, yes, you're so impressive." To impress is to capture. They're going to capture our men and force them into the British military. So they're going to capture and force them into the British military. That was really weird because my hands were all up on the screen. Okay, the British were impressing our sailors, and they were encouraging, the British were also encouraging Native American uprisings. So we end up going to war with them. The war lasts for, well, it starts in 1812. One of the battles that will be very important for you to know about is the Battle of Fort McHenry. What was so important about this? This is where Francis Scott Key writes his very famous song, The Star-Spangled Banner. He saw this, the flag was still flying even after they tried to shut it down or shoot it down so many times. The Battle of Fort McHenry, Francis Scott Key writes The Star-Spangled Banner. Turns out at the end of the war is ended with something we call the Treaty of Ghent. G-H-E-N-T, the Treaty of Ghent. I know what you're thinking, what? This treaty didn't happen in Paris? What is this? not Paris, even though that doesn't even make sense. So that's cool. It's a good joke. Ha, ha, ha. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just thought it'd be more fun for you. Okay, so that is really all we're going to cover about, that's all we're going to cover about the War of 1812 and your review. Go ahead and watch part 2 of the review if you'd like to continue. Latest.